Welcome to Around the Globe, a place where we bring you information and facts about the globe. You will learn a lot here. Please hit that subscribe button and you will learn more. Today's topic is the 20 greatest inventions of all time. Our lives would not be the same without these inventions. Humans have dreamed up and created some amazing and sometimes unorthodox inventions. From the moment someone bashed a rock on the ground to make the first sharp-edged tool, to the debut of the wheel, to the development of Mars rovers and the internet, several key advancements stand out as particularly revolutionary. Here are our top picks for the most important inventions of all time, along with the science behind the invention and how they came about. 1. The wheel. Intriguingly, historians claim that while wheels are ubiquitous now, they were not originally intended for use in transportation. The first known wheels were potter's wheels, which were made in Mesopotamia approximately 3500 BC, according to the evidence. About 300 years later, they were utilized for chariots. 2. The printing press. Books and other papers were created by hand until Johannes Gutenberg in the early 1400s invented the printing press and movable type. The number of books increased quickly after the printing press industrialized book production, reaching 20 million volumes by 1500 and then upwards of 200 million just 10 years later. The global spread of literacy and knowledge was fueled by this rise in the number of books. 3. The nail. This important creation stretches back more than 2,000 years to the time of the ancient Romans and was only made possible once people learned how to cast and shape metal. In the past, wood buildings had to be made by geometrically joining adjacent boards, which was a considerably more laborious procedure. Until the 1790s and early 1800s, hand-wrought nails were the norm, with the blacksmith heating a square iron rod and then hammering it on four sides to create a point, according to the University of Vermont. Nail-making machines came online between the 1790s and the early 1800s. Technology for crafting nails continued to advance after Henry Bessemer developed a process to mass-produce steel from iron. The iron nails of yesteryear slowly waned, and by 1886, Fuller, the compass. It was risky to sail far from shore in the days before satellite navigation, as ancient mariners relied on the stars for guidance. Between the 2nd century BC and the 1st century Anno Domini, the Han Dynasty in China developed the first compass. It was made of lodestone, a naturally magnetic iron ore whose appealing qualities had been studied for years. However, between the 11th and 12th centuries, during the Song Dynasty, it was first utilized for navigation. Then, via maritime interaction, the technology reached the West. The rise of global trade was facilitated by the compass, which allowed seamen to navigate securely far from land. The compass, a device that is still frequently used today, has permanently altered our perception of the Earth. 5. The steam engine. When the steam engine was first developed by James Watt in 1781, it had a modest 10 horsepower, but within 12 years, it had multiplied 1,000 times to 10,000 horsepower. It essentially results in a doubling of horsepower each year. 6. Penicillin. Penicillin, one of the earliest medicines used to treat illness, has enhanced and saved countless lives. Although Scottish scientist and Nobel winner Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin in 1928, it took until the middle of the 1940s for it to be successfully produced in large quantities. In truth, Merck, a U.S. company, manufactured the first batch of penicillin in 1942, and that one patient consumed half of the entire batch. After the production method was finally figured out, the United States produced 646 billion units annually in 1945. 7. The light bulb. Our reliance on natural light was removed by the development of the light bulb, which allowed us to be productive day or night. Several inventors contributed to the creation of this groundbreaking technology throughout the 1800s, but Thomas Edison is recognized as the primary inventor because in 1879 he developed a fully operational lighting system that included a generator, wiring, and a carbon filament bulb. This innovation led to the widespread use of electricity in Western homes and also had the fairly unanticipated effect of altering sleep habits. 8. The lens. When optical lenses were created, the unknown could be known because they made the invisible visible. The lens creation made everything previously invisible to the human sight visible, including minute species and far-off stars. 9. Paper. Paper and the printing press worked hand in hand to drive literacy, spread information, and improve the globe. 10. Vaccines. It basically involves training the body to battle and then remember a disease so that should it be faced again, it will be ready to identify and eradicate it before it can spread widely. According to the World Health Organization, approved vaccinations are presently offered for 25 different diseases. 11. The computer. Computers, love them or hate them, we rely on them every day. In fact, you're using one right now. But have you ever stopped to think about who invented computers and how they came to dominate our lives? So who invented the first computer and who can I blame for all those wasted hours? You might be surprised to learn that many computer pioneers struggled to get funding for their ideas and faced skepticism from their contemporaries. The word computer is also much older than you might think. The first computer, the Antikythera mechanism, was mechanical. Originally, computers were people. It was a job title. The first computer was invented by Charles Babbage but was not built until 1991. 12. The telephone. As with many inventions, the telephone was developed by several different people that each made contributions. The telephone made voice communication possible, and that resulted in lessening the distance between people. It also lets you talk to your family when you're far away. 13. The Internet and World Wide Web. Billions of people throughout the world use the Internet, a global network of linked computer networks. The first version of the Internet, known as ARPANET, was created in the 1960s by a group of computer scientists working for the ARPA of the U.S. Defense Department. It made use of a data transfer technique called packet switching, created by team member and computer scientist Lawrence Roberts based on earlier work by other computer scientists. According to computer scientist Harry R. Lewis in his book Ideas That Created the Future, Classic Papers of Computer Science, this technology was advanced in the 1970s by scientists Robert Kahn and Vinton Cerf, who created the crucial communication protocols for the Internet, the Transmission Control Protocol, and the Internet Protocol. Kahn and Cerf are frequently referred to as the inventors of the Internet because of this. The World Wide Web, created by computer scientist Tim Berners-Lee while working at CERN in 1989, helped the Internet advance. The underlying objective of the WWW was to unite the growing technologies of computers, data networks, and hypertext into a powerful and user-friendly global information system. The development of the WWW united the world in a way that had never been possible before and made the Internet accessible to everyone. 14. The automobile. The vehicle, one of the first complicated machines to be mass-produced, swiftly spread and became essential. It influenced where people worked and lived, encouraged the development of highways and byways, and had a significant impact on the social fabric of the world. 15. The flush toilet. In a piece for The Economist, Nick Valery claimed that the flush toilet was a greater miracle than the discovery of antibiotics. We would still be living in a cruel period of cholera, dysentery, typhus, and typhoid fever, to say nothing of bubonic plague, he said, without plumbing sanitation within the home to dispose of human waste. Unsurprisingly, the first toilets to flush with water used river water that had been redirected through a drainage system to move waste downstream. 16. The airplane. The Wright brothers made their first controlled flight propelled by a heavier-than-air vehicle there in 1903. Markers are placed across the grassy sand fields to indicate the lengths of their initial flights. There is a model of the Wright Flyer as well as of the simple cottages they occupied on their trips from Ohio to North Carolina, where they made numerous attempts to fly and where they lived and worked. It is holy ground. It's incredible that Boeing released the 707 just a little over 50 years later. And in 1969, only 66 years after the Wright brothers made their first flight, Apollo 11 made their moon landing. 17. Semiconductors. Semiconductors, the building blocks of modern computers, are made mostly from silicon, the second most plentiful element in the Earth's crust. The global semiconductor market is currently worth $330 billion. 18. The radio. Although the radio was patented by Marconi a few years before 1900, it wasn't until the 1920s that it was functional enough to be used as a news and entertainment medium. The radio gave humans the opportunity to efficiently communicate directly with enormous numbers of people by voice over long distances, whereas the telegraph only allowed for instantaneous communication over short distances. 19. Steelmaking. The ability to produce high-quality steel in vast quantities gave rise to the Industrial Age's material. It is a crucial element in almost every industry, including those that manufacture and build cars, airplanes, buildings, machines, and ships. 20. The telegraph. One may claim that the telegraph underwent a long process of refinement, starting with smoke signals and reflected light, progressing through electrical telegraphs like those used to communicate Morse code, and finally ending with wireless telegraphy. Thank you for watching this video produced by the clever producer Mr. Wonderful. We will publish these videos every single day. Please subscribe to this channel to receive many more videos about the globe. This is Around the Globe.